result, he falls in the sixth valleys, which would be the bewilderment. He falls into strange situations of amazement, some spiritual, amazement, yes. And then finally, he reached to the valley they translated as nothingness, which is a wrong translation. It's the valley of selflessness. When the self empties, as one of the greatest Muslims of the world, the greatest philosophers, named Rumi in the West, they know him as Rumi. He says we are like a hollow reed, like a cane, If you empty it, inside it, all the dirt comes out, whatever, then it turns into a flute. And God takes that flute and plays in it. So he says, us, we become like that we become selfless. We become like some metal that's really shined very nicely, cleaned, and so the rays of the sun will come into it. It becomes like a mirror. God basically manifests himself to us, at which point we don't die. No, it would be another installations. We have, as I said before, the mineral spirit, the vegetable spirit, we have the animal spirit with the human spirit. If we reach to that station in the Baha'i faith, it's called the spirit of faith. Not prophethood, but a copy of it. You become like a photocopy of a real picture. Baha'u'llah is the real one. He's born with that. He did not gain anything to become who he is. His growth and evolution was only to realize who you are. Just like, as I said, Tarzan in jungle. He doesn't need to be taught how to think. His thinking is in him. Prophethood is in Baha'u'llah, is in the Prophet of God. As they just grow up, they find that they're different from people. They have different connections. So these people, ordinary people, can come to a point that they become like a copy of the Prophet of God, not him. Remember that. It's impossible. If he can become Prophet of God, then a ship can become shepherd. It's impossible. They're two different species. We as a human can never attain to become Jesus Christ. That does not mean that we're less, by the way. No. It's just the way these natures are. This plant is not smaller than me. Who says that? The plant is plant. It's a part of the jigsaw puzzle. For the creator and designer, for a moment, if you think this plant is less, if I think this plant is less than me, I have gone wrong. Everything in this universe that is made has a purpose, has a reason. It manifests the power of God, the sign of God, therefore at its own place. But when looking at the ability, the responsibility, we are human being. That's who we are. We're the intelligent thinking power and prophets of something else. However, that is, but still, when you talk about these things, people come back and say that, sure, we understood. If I had time, they say to me, we would read these things and we would attain to that huge love. But right now I have my kids that they want gift for Christmas. One of them wants computer. My daughter is going to university, is looking for a car. I have problem. Other immigrants that I talked to, they said my parents in Iran, they want money. And me and my wife have conflict over lack of money and other things. When I look at their life, I tell them that 50-60% of whatever you guys are using is wasting. He says, why do you say it's a waste? I said, because you do not take any pleasure out of this. These things are wasteful. You're buying cocaine. You don't need to. Why do you need a Tylenol? Because you have ache. Why should you have ache to use medicine? Therefore, that's a remedy that you have to have, but you do not need to be sick to use these things. So there's a balance. If we reach to that balance of life, definitely we will be happy. So people again think, okay, I'm going to put, procedures like as they do here. They come, even the religious people, read this, do that. None of that is really there. You have to respond to what you want, and you have to refine. What is it that you're after? You say to the people, they find the solutions of everything is money. And you ask them, okay, money what do you want money for? One wants money to impress, the opposite sex. One wants money to impress his other friends, to show that he has more than them. Other one wants money to have more time to go see around the world. The other wants money because he doesn't like to work. None of these wishes are correct wishes. If you reach to it, you'll be sorry. If you reach to the stage that you do not need to work anymore, impossible. You will get bored. You do need to work. If you want to be better and bigger than other people, you will lose all your friends. Everybody loves you only for your money. The respect is toward your money. And after very short time, you just don't like it anymore. People like you not for yourself, but for what you have and other things that they don't have and you do. They appreciate you for that. And so on and so forth. So, I came and said that, all right, let's talk practical. What is the practical truth? What is the use of the truth? Truth has to be useful, has to be relevant, has to deal with my issues in my life as I'm processing this matter. I do not want to go and borrow from my future to live at my present. That's what mortgage is for most people. They tell me that, why do you have people living in your house as rooms? And I told them, because I'm a tenant just like they are. They are out there to pay the mortgages and other things. But for that, I will lose my privacy. Then I have to stay in this apartment, which is like on the countertop of my kitchen is my studio as well. Because I do not want to borrow money to live. So I'm sharing it with others. And because I love people and I don't hate them, I actually enjoy their company too. But we have to develop this kind of things in ourselves. So big money, the end of the money, if it's Bill Gates, then the question, he has to ask himself that, why did he earn all this money that he has to give it back? Real questions. If he says that I'm trying to solve the problem of the world, so, you are a part of their problems. Now you're coming back, you're repenting, you want to solve the problem? Who are you to solve the problem? You're adding to it again. You're spending the money that you have taken from the people. As a result, you've done that. So, now you say that, I want to spend money for AIDS, I want to spend money for education, this and that and that. None of this is helpful for individual and for humanity, because it's lacking that overall picture as what are we doing. So then I decided to, as a philosopher, to reconstruct the Baha'i faith in a practical way to see how useful it is for every one of us. So I took that 7 valleys. I liked it, of Muslims starting it. Actually, Zoroastrian did it first. There's the huge, hero, of the Persian mythology. His name is Rostam, and he goes through this 7 process. And in Islam, it is turned into a 7 process that takes you to God. Baha'u'llah's brought that, as I said too. Then I said that, let's see, what is the result of man and his soul? his physical body and his soul together. What do? What are we achieving? What is emanating of this? I said that the first thing we do is that we have instinctive desires of eating, of sleeping, of relieving, of mating. If these things are done right, then we enter in a good mood. If they're bad sleep, tomorrow a bad mood. This brings us into mood, the mood of happiness, the mood of joy, the mood of solemn mood, you know. And if the moods are good, then we enter, as a result of mood, bad or good, we enter to start to create habits in us. Habit is a great thing. By the habit we can fall into trouble, by the habit also we can get out of it. Things are habituated in man. Somebody was telling me that, how do I become a religious man? I told him, why some people have faith, why don't I have? I said, it's just because of overdoing it. If I get a man and said that, you Mr. Atheist Communist, I'm going to give you $50,000 a year, that's $1,000 a week. Your job is that every day to go to this particular church that you hate. I want you to be there 8 hours a day, hear what they say and bring it over to me and report it to me. After the 50 years is finished, I tell them, okay, your job is done. You know what will happen? The man will attend to go to church. He's inculcated, he's instructed. It's gone into him. He's brainwashed. He'll go and do that now. Now he likes it. So, but keep doing something. Whatever that thing is, because of the habit that we have, we get used to it. So, good habits, bad habits, it creates ethics in us. There are four things. Because of these ethics, that's how we conduct ourselves. That's how we behave towards others. That's how we set up ourselves principles. As a result of the ethics, then we commit deeds. These deeds, what I'm saying, I meant deed of benevolences, you know, doing good things for people. Good deeds or bad deeds. Once you do these deeds, and then it will result into qualities. Like your work, it's physical. You make money, it's physical. You give the money to somebody, which is physical. As a result of this deed, you smell and feel generosity. If you keep doing it, then you become generous and you enjoy generosity. You like giving. Mr. Bill Gates is a generous man. He's enjoying that, you see. So, but this is the sixth. When the deeds starts attributes and quality in us. If these qualities keep hitting to a point of 50%, then we start feeling different. We start to have dreams, visions. You know, then we stand for many good things in the world. And it goes on over the 50%. We become that 7 valleys of selflessness. Actually, at this point, we start to have a contact with the truth. Somewhere, if you are in the middle of the desert, you find the Baha'i faith. You find the center. That is what it means, to find the center and orbit around it. From the bewilderment of not knowing where you go, you come down into the center. The moment you recognize the center, you orbit around it, your life and everything will become totally in proper. There's no death for you. Death is a simple transition that you have to go through and you're happy whenever it happens. It's very hard to frustrate you. But you have to keep being on that road because you can't fall back. That's the problem with the man. God and prophets of God, they can't come back. They are who they are. But human being is attaining and gaining this thing. He can also lose it. So then there are, instead of those 7 valleys, as I said before, you know, the desire, the seeking, then the love, then the understanding.